Episode 62 of Cover Your Balls. We are live here on a Wednesday night in September, nearing fall, and just, are we almost 24 hours? Yeah, 24 hours away from kickoff in the 2021
Was that 8 o'clock?
NFL season. Yeah, 8 o'clock.
8:20?
Probably
8:27.
Probably about 9:30.
Be exact.
Yeah.
Well, let's do right now. Let's continue going. I'll look up the official start time.
Yeah, well, alongside Sam Summers and Gianni Capuano, I'm Mitch Balla. Episode 62 coming to you live. And that's right, live on YouTube. And if you're not watching on YouTube, that means you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, because I finally figured it out after a 3-month battle with Spotify. They wanted to be a bunch of cucks. Well, I showed them who the boss was. So
Here we go. It's 8:20 to be exact. So we'll do over under 8:24.
8:24. I'm gonna say under because it's kickoff of the year.
Okay.
They're usually
We'll
spot
do
on.
8:23 then.
Push.
Okay.
Push. 8:23.
All right.
Well, that
I
is
get it.
Sam Summers, who you hear right now. If you are now listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify, we are here for you.
What about Apple Music?
Well, it's called Apple Podcast. It's a
Okay.
separate app. I mean, I don't know. Maybe probably not Apple Music. We're not music. Okay.
Oh,
And there's Gianni
There's
Capuano,
Gianni,
just
yes.
with the volume way in the back. You'll hear him
go Rams.
shortly when he jumps
St. Louis.
jumps in the ball pit as he's sporting his Sam Bradford jersey. And while he's sporting that jersey, episode 62 is our 2021 NFL preview show. Here in about 15 minutes, we're going to be joined by Browns writer and podcaster of Pedone My Take.
Yes.
Also employee of Bet Jack. That's Nick Pedone, friend of the show. He's already been on about 3 times. If you've been with us since the start of Cover Your Balls, which we're almost coming up on 1 year.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you the anniversary, but not my 1 year though.
End of October. Well, the show, everybody's 1 year. Just big times. The show's about to make it longer than any of my relationships ever did,
There you go.
which is very, very, well, this counts as a relationship, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm part of it.
it's a commitment.
Yeah. Damn right. Sweet. Okay, cool. So all my exes out there, screw off. But listen, guys,
How's Texas?
never been there. I got the Drake reference though.
Well, that's George Strait, so I mean that's a little appalling.
where are we going
that's
with this?
Drake. I mean,
It's
you
in a
just
Drake
gave
song.
up
It's in a Drake song.
all my lex. No. All my exes live in Texas. That's the song's by George Strait, King
I
of
know,
Country.
but I'm just telling you, it's also in a Drake song.
I understand, but all right, continue on.
Okay, well, I don't know. We are so far off here that that's not what we're looking for there. But you know what? It's close enough. At 7, Nick Pedone's going to hop in here. We're going to talk all things Browns as they head to Kansas City for the Week 1 matchup against the AFC juggernaut now in the Chiefs and how tough it's going to be. Remember, before we dive into this season preview, this is a 17-game season now. One more than last year, one more than you've probably ever remembered your entire life. So we have to take that into account. We're going to preview each division, pick our winners, the 7 playoff teams we have on each side, our conference winners, and then ultimately who's going to win the Super Bowl. Sam, Gianni, and I went ahead and we picked out our favorites for the year in MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie, Defensive Rookie, Coach of the Year, and the coach on the hot seat. I know Sam and I already can't wait to surprise each other. My name's probably going to surprise a lot of people. But before we welcome in Nick Pedone, Sam, everyone's heard from you already, but how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Glad to be doing something leisurely. So I got stuck in traffic a little bit, but I bounced back and now I'm here.
I don't get traffic. Like, honestly, let's cut the bullshit right now before we even get into sports.
I think someone got into an accident, so I don't understand it either. If there's not an accident,
It makes if there's not
and
an
even
accident.
if it is an accident, it's like, look straight ahead. Don't get too close. Just be a sensible person. There's going to be no problems.
If you want to stop, if you want to look, then pull off to the side and go help. Like, I don't
God.
I don't get people.
People just slow down. It's like, let's get moving.
What's worse, people when there's traffic for no reason, like just during the summer day, or when one flake of snow falls in Ohio and people act like we don't live in snow all the time.
I mean, I'm a person who all of my speeding tickets have been in the spring or the summer. So when it's warm weather, I'll put on the Allman Brothers. Put on, I don't know, usually just the Allman Brothers. It's a little bit of classic rock and roll. I love it all. And I will speed my heart out responsibly.
Respect. And you click it or ticket.
Yeah, I do. I click it or
You
ticket.
have to click it or ticket. It's a must.
And I drink or drive, so.
You do one or the other.
Yes.
If you drink, you do not drive.
You're correct.
Okay,
drink
perfect.
or drive.
Good. Thank you for making sure we cleared that up because we do not condone drinking and driving.
No, not at all. And I thought that was the thing. I didn't know anybody drink and drive. So if you do, please cut it out.
Knock that shit off.
Yeah.
Like, just not, that's not mature.
You're
It's
going to
not
run into a
responsible.
telephone pole.
That, or,
Kill somebody else.
Kill somebody else. And that's just not how you want to ruin your life or someone else's life, Now that we got the serious part out of the way.
Yes.
Let's just, before we dive into the NFL, there's plenty to talk about with the NFL. We're probably going to have an hour on that. But let's just touch on some other sports, some other balls, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.
What balls would you like to start with?
Geez, Mitch, I don't know. I was actually going to stick in the football realm. I was going to ask you, what do you think? A little Vegas line here. And we'll have Nick Pedone on to ask him, when is sports gambling coming to Ohio?
Right.
Because I would love to place a bet.
I would love to.
It seems like a lot of fun. And it doesn't seem, when you regulate sports gambling and you're able to, you have to deposit your money before you're able to bet it. And if you can't do that, maybe you go through like a bookie on a credit system. You have 500 credits, you start losing $500 a week. This is how people get a serious addiction, a serious problem. So the safer things are regular, and we'll talk to Nick Pedone about that.
We will.
But Baker Mayfield over under 11.5 interceptions. It seems a little low, but I like the under just because I want it to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to say under. I mean, we saw him in the last 8 games last year, 20 touchdowns to just 2 picks. It's hard to see how he would possibly regress now coming into the second year of a season for the first time in his career.
With Kevin Stefanski.
With Kev Dog, I'm gonna hammer the under here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's that low because a lot of people are going over, and I think Vegas really likes. They must really like Baker Mayfield, so that's an optimistic line from Vegas. I love it, and I will be hammering that under if I could responsibly.
Right. Maybe one day we will, and we'll see what Nick says and what he's doing behind the scenes until sports gambling is legalized here in the great state of Ohio. Speaking of that, quickly, our Ohio State Buckeyes won their first opener last week. We're going to cover the college footballs quickly. Ohio State beats Minnesota on the road. Was kind of ugly in the first half, not going to lie. However, they win. They move up to third in the AP poll and the coaches poll because Oklahoma looked like absolute shit. Shout out to Noah Danke.
Awful.
Boomer Sooner, you guys are a joke. Just stop.
How about Tulane, though? Those were some cool uniforms.
They were cool uniforms. I did like that a lot.
They had
Spencer Rattler.
new AP. So new AP, new uniforms.
Okay. Makes sense. Spencer Rattler, pretty much, in my opinion, played his way out of the Heisman conversation. Started off hot, 1 of 2 for -5 yards and a pick. It's definitely how you don't want to start your
I believe
season.
that's how he started off last season, too, if I'm not mistaken, with a nice pick.
Well, besides that, we saw Clemson look absolutely abysmal without Trevor Lawrence. TJ Uiagalelei looked terrible. Georgia only scored 10 points. Their offense didn't scare me at all. Guys, it looks like we're on a repeat of what happened last year, and it's going to be Alabama, Ohio State, either in the first round of the college football playoff or the Natty. I talked to my neighbor Sean, who's a Bama fan. He already claimed they're going to win it all again this year. I said not so fast, but is there any games that surprised you over the weekend, Sam?
No, not really. That Georgia team, their defense is unbelievable. I wouldn't count out their offense yet. I believe all of their starting receivers were out. I thought North Carolina would at least beat Virginia Tech, but that Virginia Tech crowd was awesome. I don't think there was a person on the planet who didn't enjoy that clip of Enter Sandman being played and all those Virginia Tech students jumping up and down and cheering their hearts out. I forgot how much college football last year was, to me, it was unwatchable. I hated it.
I agree.
I would watch Kent State, and I would maybe watch Ohio State, and that was it. I watched so much college football as much as I could on Saturday. Watched Florida State versus Notre Dame on Sunday. It had been a great weekend. I can't wait for tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow night, too. I'm excited to have college football back, and Ohio State had part of a top 10 matchup this week, or top 15. Ohio State welcomes Oregon to the shoe. I know Gianni's going to be down there, and I know you folks are still waiting to hear from Gianni, but he will join once Nick calls in. We just got to have our producer back there doing whatever he needs to do. Quickly, though, might as well get this out of the way now. We'll reiterate it at the end of the show. Moving forward, though, Cover Your Balls is going to be coming to you live on Monday nights. We probably around 6:45, 7 o'clock start time we have agreed to. And by doing that, it's going to allow the three of us to, one, be on the same page, allow you as the viewing audience and listening audience to know when to expect it. I know we've been 3 Wednesdays in a row. Before that, it was a Thursday or Tuesday. But on Mondays, we will break down the weekend. We will recap all the action in college football. We'll recap all the action in the NFL. We will still cover all the other balls, anything happening in the NBA. We know Ben Simmons reportedly is going to be traded by the Sixers. We know the MLB playoffs are coming around. I cannot wait to have a postseason show for the MLB playoffs, one of the best times of the year. But not only will we do that, we're going to end up doing an offline show weekly as well. We're still trying to figure out if we want to do Thursday or Fridays. But by doing that, me and the guys, we're going to pick the games of the week, top games in college, and then the games in the NFL. We're going to post them on Twitter, on our Twitter page, at CYB Pod, which you can follow us on there if you aren't already. And at the end of the year, we're going to see who knows the most about picks, whether it's college football, NFL, or both. But after 62 tonight, episode 63 will come to you live on Monday. And we will start around 6:45, 7, and we'll be done between 8:15 so that you can watch us, get your balls covered, and then get back on the couch, enjoy a nice beverage responsibly. And if you're not of that age, you can enjoy a nice Kool-Aid jammer and watch the Monday Night Football game. Think it's going to be for the best?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great schedule. It gives the casual fan, the casual viewer a chance to, if you watch the Monday night game, okay, maybe I'll tune in to Cover Your Balls for a little bit, listen for a half hour, 45 minutes, roll into the Monday night game. I know me, Monday nights, I don't work, thankfully. But if I did, it's a miserable work day.
Yeah.
You don't want to be there. You don't want to do it. For me, it's a great way to start off my week. It's my last off day. I watch the Monday night game, have a nice dinner, have a nice drink, and I would think of all the bets I might do, and I play those out in my head, and I act like I put money on them. So I enjoy it either way.
Yeah, I think what it's going to be able to allow us to do is going to allow us to overreact definitely week by week to our Cleveland Browns, Gianni's Los Angeles Rams, other teams in the league. Like we saw last year, Tom Brady forgot how many timeouts they had or what down it was, and all hell broke loose, and people thought he should have been in a nursing home.
And that will be fun once, and I think that may have been a Thursday night game, Mitch.
Yep.
But that, and that will be fun for when we play the Broncos, if I believe, on Monday night. Yeah.
No, Thursday night. Monday night game is
the Bears?
At Pittsburgh, January 3rd. And then we have a Sunday night game at Baltimore before we head into our bye week. And then out of the bye week, play the Ravens again. Schedule is right there.
Okay. Yeah. I guess we look at that.
But no, it's also going to allow you guys in the ball pit, the callers, the viewers, the listeners, to call in and give us your overreaction or your hot take on why you still don't think Baker Mayfield's a franchise quarterback, or why you still aren't a believer in so-and-so, or why you think Zach Wilson's going to be the greatest quarterback ever like Tony Romo does. And we'll just tell you you're flat out wrong. I mean, it's okay. That's why you call us. We're going to cover your balls, and we're going to tell you yes or no,
and we're going to argue with you.
We're going to argue with you, all right? Like, I can't wait for Noah from Oklahoma City to give us a call and tell us about how great Oklahoma is, because they probably beat a 3-8, TCU team by a touchdown, barely escaping or something. I don't know, but I guarantee you we'll hear from Noah in Oklahoma City.
He was posting pictures on Instagram. He got a little too rowdy. I heard that he pissed his pants.
Yes, I also heard that.
It's a little embarrassing, but he was with his buddy from Tulane.
Yeah, but I would have pissed my pants too if I was a Sooner fan. I mean, all of a sudden Tulane was coming back, and before you know it, I mean, they were about one extension of a ball away from continuing that drive and possibly walking out of Norman, Oklahoma with a win.
Okay.
So, but yes, sources do confirm Noah from Oklahoma City did piss his pants. Bad look for the brand, bad look for the kid. And ultimately, we're going to have to get that cleaned up moving ahead. I guarantee you also hear from Daddy Mac / JJ from Indianapolis to talk about his Bearcats.
Yeah, I mean, it's been did the Bearcats win or lose? I haven't heard from
They did win. They did win. Ritter, who I believe is honestly one of the top 2 quarterbacks that'll be in the draft next year, probably had one of the better and most impressive starts in week 1 for draft-eligible quarterbacks. We talk about Sam Howell for North Carolina, at Virginia Tech. Yeah. Spencer Rattler looked like doo-doo.
He's eligible?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, third round. Fourth.
Maybe. I'm trying to think who else is out there.
Because there's not a lot of QB needs around the league.
No, but you already know we're going to get to this, later on in the year, probably halfway through October, early November. We're going to talk about what quarterback comes out of nowhere, because there's always a quarterback every year that surprises people and comes out of nowhere. We know about Ritter in Cincinnati enough. We saw him in a New Year's Six Bowl last year. Not going to surprise us. We saw Howell last year and the expectations. And I mean, when you have Grandpa Mac Brown as your coach, I mean, I don't even know if he can get in the field without a walker nowadays.
Yeah, he needs to hang him up.
My gosh, dude must have gambled all his money away, and he just had to take another coaching job.
Can't hate the hustle, Mitch. That's truly the American dream. So, if I could one day be a Mac Brown and gamble responsibly, I'd love it.
Fair enough. But yeah,
after I retire, of course.
Of course. Well, we are just waiting on the call to come into the Cover Your Balls hotline from Nick Pedone. Nick Pedone has joined us. If you haven't seen him before, he was with us last December, to preview the Browns. I believe the Monday night game against the Ravens, the Steelers game in the playoffs, the Chiefs game in the playoffs. Nick and I have a connection through ESPN Cleveland, and now he's out doing his own thing, big things in the works for Mr. Pedone. But before we get there, Sam, anything you wanted to touch on quickly? Anything you want to bring up?
We're doing this preview?
We're going to do that after we talk to Nick. Nick's only going to be with us about 20, 30 minutes, and afterwards, you, Gianni, and I, who's now entering our ball pit in the studio. So I need to unmute your mic. All right, you're there.
So what's going on, everybody?
Gianni in his St. Louis Rams gear.
Yeah, we were sporting the, obviously the LA Rams. I'm wearing the St. Louis gear. I'm actually sporting the Sam Bradford jersey today to let everyone know that I'm an OG fan. I've caught some slack in the recent years since the Rams have actually been good. People call me a bandwagoner, all sorts of things. And, I'm here to tell you that I've been a Rams fan since birth. And, we're always here for the long haul. And from what Mitch said earlier, we are going to the Ohio State game this weekend. Very pumped. I'll definitely get some clips, record some stuff on my phone to maybe show on the pod next week. But I'm excited to go to the Ohio State game. I think Ohio State's going to pull it off this week.
Yeah, if I were you, I would hammer, absolutely hammer Ohio State first half, -7.5. I was not impressed at all by the Oregon Ducks. I think the front line, the O-line and the D-line of Ohio State are absolutely going to dominate.
And that's cut you off. We're going live to Nick Pedone.
First half, -7.5, Buckeyes over Oregon.
Well, I'm sure Nick Pedone's going to love to hear that you're already saying hammer the Buckeyes 7.5 in the first half against Oregon. Now, as we go to the Cover Your Balls hotline, Nick Pedone. Nick, welcome into the show.
Yo, what's up?
Well, wait a second. All right, can you hear me now?
Nick. Uh-oh. Some technical difficulties here.
I'm going to call him back. Don't worry. Sam, keep entertaining.
Wouldn't be a game, or wouldn't be an episode of Cover Your Balls without technical difficulties. We already have someone asking for the number. I'm going to have to tell them to hold off.
All right, Nick, are you there now?
We are having some serious issues here.
This is just an absolute shit show.
I think this is down.
No, it's not that at all. All right, well, Sam, you entertain them while I figure this out.
He can't hear us. We can't hear him.
Let me put it to the wide angle here real quick.
This is for, if you're a fan of gambling, you might be a fan of me. I'm going to have to come back with a stronger Twitter account. I promised the fans that. I think I've had some bad news. Go Flashes 69. I don't believe we'll ever be back. I've completely lost hope. I don't know what to do. I'm going to do one more appeal to Twitter. But if not that, I'm going to create basically just oh my God, I could bet on first coach to be fired. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Hold on. Nick, can you hear us now? Great. All right.
We got, first coach to be fired. I'll give off some favorites here. Mike Zimmer, plus 450. He's the league leader. Vic Fangio, plus 500. I think I might take that. Vic Fangio. Mike McCarthy, plus 600. Matt Nagy, plus 700. That's good value. Cliff Kingsbury plus 750. Zach Taylor plus 800. That one I love. I think I may take Zach Taylor plus 800. David Culley. I don't even know who David Culley is. I wish David Culley well this year. I hope his team does well, unless they're in the AFC.
I was gonna say Larry Anger from the chat kind of gave me a little idea for the Monday night stuff. We could call it the little, because he said in the chat,
This is
hell
Larry
yes,
from last week?
yes.
Okay.
He
Larry,
said, hell
welcome
yes, tailgate with a little CYB before Monday Night Football. We could call it
Yeah.
the Monday Night Tailgate.
That'd be great. And we could, I would even be down for like an in-person, I don't know where we would do it.
We could do it.
We'll do it at Larry's house. Yeah, thanks,
We could
Larry.
set up a tent in the driveway.
Yeah, that'd be great. I heard Larry is buying beers, buying brats, and he has the Monday night game.
He also said in the chat, why hasn't anyone acknowledged that Baker has had 4 different head coaches in 3 years with 3.5 different offensive playbooks, and he's still had 2 good seasons?
Yeah, Larry. Most people who aren't Browns fans, they hate on Baker because they aren't Browns fans. They don't watch the Browns. They don't know the Browns, and they're just morons. All they can think about are 0-16, 1-15, and all those horrible years. But those are behind us. I have full faith in Kevin Stefanski. I mean, he is a leader of men. He is the alpha dog in a pack of pound dogs that Kevin Stefanski is, and I have total faith that the Browns are renewed. Mitch is still having some technical difficulties here.
It's all right.
Those in the ball pit. Zach Taylor plus 800, first coach to be fired. I absolutely love that. I completely have lost what I was looking at earlier. Let's see here. It was season specials. We're back. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll tell you what, I put some pretend bets out there. I took Jalen Hurts over 20.5 touchdowns for the year. That's at plus 100. I think Jalen Hurts gets over 20.5. I like Jalen Rieger. I like Devontae Smith.
You think he's going to ball out this year?
I think he's going to do pretty well. I don't know how well.
I was seeing something on ESPN the other morning. Who do you think will have more touchdowns, Mac Jones or Jalen Hurts? Alabama.
Hurts.
Which Alabama quarterback will?
I'll take Jalen Hurts for the
I'm thinking Mac Jones.
I think that the Patriots will run the ball more.
Who do you think will get more wins?
Mac Jones. I don't have faith in the Eagles. That much faith. And I also took Odell Beckham Jr. over, if I could, over 925.5 receiving yards. That's my homer bet. I kind of like that number. OBJ, comeback season. I'm not sure how much I'll be liking that bet, say like week 4, week 5. But he's the kind of receiver that all of a sudden, oh my God,
Maybe
he just...
you just want to hold it up to the...
He just did 175 yards.
Worse. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You should hold the lavalier up to thing. It's never not worked before.
Right.
So.
He gets 175 yards in a game, and oh my goodness.
You can just hold it up to the thing.
Here we go. Let's go to regular season rushing yards. Derrick Henry plus 300. You might as well just sprinkle that. Because Derrick Henry he's unbelievable. I've never seen a running back like that. You got J.K. Dobbins at plus 2,000. I wouldn't recommend it. But if I was a sports book in Vegas, I would say hammer the J.K. Dobbins most regular season rushing yards. We're calling Gianni here. We're doing a little bit of a test.
Yeah, we're testing some things out for the Nick Pedone interview.
Saquon Barkley plus 1,000. I kind of like that. Ezekiel Elliott plus 1,400. And again, this is for most regular season rushing yards.
I'm not even getting a call.
Dalvin Cook. Could be like a service thing, perhaps. Dalvin Cook plus 550. Nick Chubb plus 600. I'm thinking Nick Chubb might do it this year, but again, with total homer. Lamar Jackson at plus 3,300. That might be something to consider with J.K. Dobbins out for the year. I mean, 3,300 here. Let's just see. I mean, say you would have put $20 in that. That one's just $660. Why not? Have a little fun. Do something dumb and take Lamar Jackson most regular season rushing yards. Here we go. On to regular season wins. Let's check out some more. Cardinals over 8.5. Ravens under 10.5. Bills over 11. Bears over 7.5. Bengals. I know I don't have schedules in front of me, but we'll go Bengals. Oh, under 6.5. Browns over 10.5. Easy. In fact, I don't know really anything about mortgages. Take 10 mortgages out, put it all in Browns over 10.5, and you'll be a happy person or a very, very sad person at the end of the year. I wouldn't advise it, but it would be fun. It could be worth it. Who knows? We'll go Broncos under 8.5 wins. It's going to be a disaster again. I don't like Vic Fangio. Who knows? Maybe it's over 8.5 wins. I'm not responsible for that, and I don't care if you lose your money, to be honest with you. Lions, how close are we? Lions is over under 5. We'll take the over. Everyone's hating on Jared Goff.
Oh, we got him.
All right, Nick, are you there?
Hey, what's up, guys?
You hear him, Sam?
Yeah, I can hear him.
All right, perfect. All right, I think the board's shorted, so we're going to have to go the old school way with putting the mic up to the phone. Not sure what happened here, but Nick, better late than never. Welcome back to Cover Your Balls, dude.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back, guys. What's happening?
Well, you tell us, man. Let's before we talk about, what you're doing now and what you do when we're not watching our Cleveland sports teams and rooting our hearts out, and then also over analyzing every little thing that every coach or player does. You cool with talking Browns and Chiefs first?
Yeah, 100%. Let's do it.
All right, so we go Sunday, week 1 opener against the Juggernaut Chiefs in Kansas City, 4:25 for those out there. We got Jim Nance, Tony Romo on the call on CBS. Listen, I'm excited. I'm not sure what to expect yet. I don't know if I've ever been this excited for an opener before, but Nick, going into Kansas City, how do you feel right now? I mean, I know you've been there all summer long covering the team. How do you feel right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super pumped. I think that, like you said, Mitch, I kind of haven't been this excited about a Brown season for a really long time, and I feel like the fans probably feel the same way, and that's justified in their thinking, just because it's been so long, and this is an organization that has wandered through the desert for the better half of 20 years, and here they are on national TV, with Nance, Romo, the A squad on CBS, playing the Super Bowl favorite Kansas City Chiefs. It's crazy. They've come a long way. We were through all the bad, so we deserve to enjoy the good. And I'm going in with blind optimism. Some people say cautious optimism. I'm not. I'm being a fan of this team this entire season. And quite frankly, I can't wait to just sit back and enjoy the ride.
So is it safe to say then, Nick, that you are no longer fanning scared like most Cleveland fans have before? I know especially after that 2019 season when we were all excited after acquiring Odell in the offseason. We went in with a lot of optimism only to come out and get the doors blown off against Tennessee in week 1. Then you have a clown and joke of a coach in Freddie Kitchens. And we were really skeptical heading into last year. Is it safe to say you're over that stage then?
Yeah, same. I mean, like you said, the coach then was Freddie freaking Kitchens, and the coach now is Kevin Stefanski, and those two are night and day. Even at the time, you could have walked into your local CVS and found people that had managed more individuals than Freddie Kitchens had. He just wasn't qualified for the job, and I can't blame him for taking it. I blame the guy who offered it to him and who entrusted him with that. So I think those days were behind us. Baker was a younger quarterback then. I mean, we're looking at a guy that's going into year 4 that we're all expecting to lead us to the promised land and become, possibly a league MVP, possibly a Super Bowl champion, and ultimately a $40 million man at the end of, this year. So I'm no longer fanning scared, to answer your question. No, I think there are expectations, and those expectations should be, they're realistic and justified.
And I think I'm finally there and man enough to tell you, I think I'm there with you. I was one who, especially last year, as you know, when you hopped on a couple of the shows, I was extremely negative. I always picked the Browns to lose just because of what we've been through in our young lives. and even our parents have been through. I mean, first time since '02 we make the playoffs, and first time we win a playoff game since the '80s or '90s. I'm sorry, but I mean, Sam, are you in the same way? Are you done fanning scared? Are you finally optimistic?
Oh yeah, and Nick, I don't know if you can hear me. I hope you can.
I got you.
Okay, excellent. No, I'm not scared. I'm on the same boat as Nick. Freddie Kitchens, John Dorsey, they got really, really excited as soon as we got Baker Mayfield. As soon as we had a little bit of talent in Cleveland, the excitement was way too much for them. But we've settled down. We've got some Harvard men, some Yale men, in our coaching staff and our front office, and we're moving ahead steady and fast.
So Nick, you said a couple of things when I asked you if you were fanning scared anymore, and this is going to lead the direction we take this. First things I want to bring up, the contract situation. We saw Josh Allen sign this massive contract with the Bills. He's the first one from the class of 2018 of the 5 quarterbacks that were taken in the first round. As we know, Josh Rosen is now a journeyman already in 3 short years. Darnold has found a second home. Then you have the big 3 left. You have Josh Allen in Buffalo, Lamar in Baltimore, and Baker here with our Cleveland Browns. So Josh is the first one to get that huge contract extension. People thought Baker was going to get it. Then he didn't. Then we signed Chubb, and we thought Baker could be next, or it was Denzel next. What was your reaction to Josh Allen, and are you in favor of us holding off on extending Baker right now?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised to see the Josh Allen contract extension, to be honest with you. The same way that I wasn't surprised to see the dollar amount attached to Dak Prescott a few months prior, just because that's the going rate for quarterbacks nowadays. It's like when you get a good one, you have to pay him just because it's hard. Like you said, Josh Rosen's already a journeyman. It's, Sam Darnold's on his second team from that 2018 draft class. Even, you look more recently into 2019, 2020, some of those quarterbacks are already fizzling out. It's so difficult to draft and develop. So what the Browns have done with Baker, especially somehow, and I think it's a big testament to Baker and the type of individual he is, to stay the course and stay through the bad days of Hugh Jackson and Freddie Kitchens and John Dorsey, even though he's a great talent evaluator, had his flaws. And now the Browns are in a place where they need to think about extending Baker. And really, if I'm being quite honest with you guys, this has been the one kind of executive maneuver that I have not agreed with Andrew Berry about. I understand that things happen at the beginning of free agency and they miss out on some big-time defensive players. The pass rusher market was just absurd when free agency opened, that they weren't going to pay that kind of top dollar. They land John Johnson. They get secondary help. That's very important in the analytics and in their approach with how they want to address things. But I thought the one thing that they needed to do, and the one thing that they've done successfully, was get in front of the contract situation with Baker Mayfield. We saw them do it last summer with Myles Garrett. Myles didn't need a new contract last summer, but they jumped the gun and got him on the cheap. Now that contract's already starting to look like a steal. Same with Nick Chubb. Obviously, it looks like a steal right now. Imagine that contract once this Amazon Prime deal goes through and the NFL salary cap goes up even further. I understand that it takes 2 to tango. It's Baker, it's his agents, it's his representation, it's Barry, it's the advisors that the Browns have, it's Dee Podesta. There are so many things that go into these super massive extensions, and that will go into Baker's extension because it's the most important position and he's going to be the most expensive piece of all this. But I wouldn't expect Baker to take a pay cut, and I wish they could have gotten it done now, because if Baker goes out there and puts together a 17-game regular season tape that we all think he's going to, plus playoffs, plus potentially AFC Championship game and Super Bowl, he becomes that more expensive, and that limits the other positions that you could play and you could afford, and that's just the fact of it all.
And ultimately, if that's what happens, it's going to hurt them when it comes to cap space for other positions and for fellow 18 first-round draft pick Denzel Ward. And Nick, I mean, I know you've had the privilege to interview Denzel a couple times, I believe, but what does this ultimately mean for him? Because thought was, between guys we listened to on Cleveland radio and guys we talked to, that with them not extending Baker, that Denzel was going to get done. And I know things can get done, within a day or during the season, but with how this front office and this team works, it's hard for me to see that Denzel Ward would get extended anytime after Sunday morning when the season officially kicks off.
Yeah, that's been like the biggest enigma for me, right? And it's interesting to take this deep dive because Denzel Ward was a guy that missed like 2 weeks with what the Browns were calling soreness this training camp. And I was like, yeah, soreness for sure, from his hand sore, from practicing his signature on what would be his new massive contract. But that's not how it panned out. And like you guys said, I don't know when this massive contract extension is going to happen for Denzel Ward. It's something that they've been very outspoken about. They want to get done. You know, they had the intentions of getting it done this year, and they just couldn't do it. So is that something that concerns me, though? No. They have the fifth-year option picked up already on both Denzel and Baker. There definitely is a world, even where you have to pay Baker a big sum of money, you could keep Denzel Ward too. I'm really not panicking yet about losing Denzel Ward. I thought it was weird that, like you said, kickoff is Sunday at 4 p.m. and that contract still isn't going to be done, but I think they do find a way to get it done. The conversations have been ongoing, so maybe that's something that they just spring on us, you know, during the bye week, that Denzel Ward's going to be a Brown long term. So we'll see. It's very interesting, Mitch.
I don't really think it's going to be necessarily a problem. Because Baker has one more year after this year, or is this is his final year on the contract?
Correct. This is year 4, but they picked up the fifth-year option, so there's this year and the following year.
Okay, I mean, there's plenty of time to get that done. Do you really think Baker's going to get $40 million?
I mean, it all depends, right? If they were to sign it right now, no, there's no way that he gets $40 million, and that's just because he hasn't put it all together for a full 17-game season plus playoffs, and that's what the Browns want him to do. But say he goes out there and potentially wins league MVP. Then maybe we're singing a different tune, or maybe he doesn't win league MVP and he just looks like a very solid game manager that leads the Cleveland Browns to a Super Bowl appearance, dare I say a Super Bowl win. Then yeah, you got to just send the agent a blank check, and whatever he writes in is what you got to pay him. So I wouldn't rule out Baker Mayfield making $40 million. To answer that question.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you think maybe Baker's the one where his team is holding off, saying, well, let's see, maybe you throw for 4,500 yards and you make it to the AFC Championship, you make it to the Super Bowl. Now the Browns are in trouble by default, and Baker's the winner at heart.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anything of the sort, right? But that's always a reality. We know Baker is a guy that's been known to double down on himself. He walked on in college twice. Nobody believed that he was going to be the first-round draft pick, and then even when he was, people still didn't believe in him. We see that underdog mentality. We talk about it all the time. I think it's definitely in the realm of possibilities that, he just said, hey, we appreciate these preliminary contract extensions, appreciate that it's trying to get done, but I'm going to go out there and try to set the world on fire and get even more money after this season.
Right.
Right, absolutely. And I think a big thing that is going to depend on how much money Baker Mayfield makes, besides his play, Nick, is what happens with the guys on the field with him, and that leads us to possibly the biggest concern, the biggest question mark heading into the season is what happens now that number 13 is back on the field. Odell Beckham Jr. is back. We know the first 8 games last season were a mess between Baker and Odell. A lot of people say Baker's better without Odell. A lot of other people say Baker didn't have control of the new system. I mean, 4th coach in 4 years. Had to get all the bad habits out and learn Stefanski's offense in a pandemic season, no preseason. Unique mini camp. Do you think that also plays a factor into this? Because him and Jarvis take up, I believe, over $28 million of cap room for just the 2 wide receivers. Do you see any way possible that they go out there, they both ball out this year, and they both return next year? Because there's a lot of people who think this could be Odell's last ride in Cleveland, no matter what, because of the contract.
I don't know. It's tough. I have to believe, and I'm led to believe that if they win a Super Bowl and if they ball out and it looks like prime Brady and prime Moss, that they're not going to break it up just for the hell of breaking it up. This is not the Browns of old with Sashi and analytics, and they're solely going to follow the bottom line. I think Andrew Berry appreciates the analytics, and he definitely uses that in calculating how he approaches his day-to-day job. But I also think that there is a side of him that is very football-oriented and that understands the implications of things like having an Odell Beckham and the mismatches that he creates for guys, like the running game, like Austin Hooper, David Njoku, Jarvis Landry, the list goes on. It's an interesting dynamic, though, with Odell Beckham. And this is something that I might have to write a column on now, Mitch, before this game, kicks off on Sunday. And that's just, it could go many, many different ways. It could go the ways of, like you said, Baker had a Zoom off season last year, trying to learn a brand new offense. Mind you, in training camp, they completely retooled his footwork with offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt. That was just 1 year ago. We're just 1 year removed from that. So, of course, there was going to be bumps and learning curves along the way, and Odell Beckham was a big part of that. And the name and the target demand is all a byproduct of the talent that Odell Beckham can bring. However, and while I don't think there will be any hiccups with those two, I really don't. I think Baker is a brand new quarterback. I think we saw the true version of Baker Mayfield from the second half of that Cincinnati Bengals game where he came out on fire, threw 5 touchdowns, game-winning, throw to Donovan Peoples-Jones to end the game. I truly do think that's the guy that we'll see. You throw Odell Beckham in there, and that's just a whole nother wrinkle to the offense. However, if the ugliness shows its face again in a season where the expectations are so high, the argument is that this window for a Super Bowl, the window for a championship, is wide open, and Baker regresses and he's staring down Beckham. He's throwing interceptions in his direction. That pick number increases. He's not doing things the same way that we saw him last year, and it proves somehow even further that Odell Beckham is the problem with Baker Mayfield. I think you got to cut ties immediately. And that breaks my heart to say, because I want nothing more this week in Arrowhead in Kansas City to see OBJ go out there and catch a touchdown pass and be the comeback player of the year. I really think he can do that, especially in this offense, being that deep threat down the field and just completely rejuvenize his career here in Cleveland. But the second that ugliness and that negativity and the interceptions and the stare down starts to show its face, you got to find a trade for Mr. Beckham.
Yeah, Nick, I agree with you. I think, and there was a moment in that Bengals game, and it wasn't right after Odell got hurt, but it was a Baker touchdown pass to, I believe, one of the tight ends. It might have been Njoku, where he reared back and he fired it into the end zone. It was like something snapped in his head, where all of a sudden Baker, from the Freddie Kitchens era, that byproduct of Baker was completely gone, and all of a sudden it was proved last season. Odell Beckham, over under 925 and a half receiving yards. Do you like that over?
Yeah, I do.
Excellent.
I like over 925 for sure,
too.
just because it's a 17-game season, and we could make the argument that with Freddie and with the Browns going 6-10, with Odell at his worst in that 2019 season where he wasn't 100% healthy the entire way, and Freddie was a disaster, and Baker was a disaster throwing interceptions, he still cracked 1,000 yards. It wasn't pretty. It looked like they were forcing him to get over 1,000 yards, but he still did it. So I think in a 17-game season, despite Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, some of those other offensive weapons, I think, Mr. Beckham cracks the 925. That seems tremendously low. I'd be willing to say he cracks 1,000 again.
Yeah, I love it. He had sports hernia, torn ACL. I think he's really coming back this year, and that's just me as a Browns fan, but I can see it right now.
Yeah, me too. I think it's going to be a big year.
I sure hope you guys are both right. I also like that as well. I'm in the camp that I thought Odell was the issue, but I think they'll get back on the same page. Nick, last thing I'll ask you before we switch topics here and go from the Browns to Bet Jack. What is your biggest storyline or biggest thing you're looking forward to heading into Sunday, not just the season. We're going to take this one game at a time on the show this year. And we're going to enjoy the ride for the first time and what a lot of us think is our best shot to win a Super Bowl in our lifetime. And hopefully this is just the beginning of things to come. But what are you looking for Sunday for the Browns to go into Arrowhead? Keep in mind, a sold-out Arrowhead, which they did not play in front of last year. I believe it was 20,000 fans when we lost there in January. Do the Browns go in there and get the dub?
I think they do. I think they go in there and get the dub. It's not an easy place to play by any stretch of the imagination, but also this is a team that's, to quote Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, hyper-focused. They're laser-focused in, guys. I mean, we've seen it before, and we've said it before, and we've fallen for the fairy tales and the storylines. This is a team, though, that was given by the National Football League and the NFL Players Association a little bit of a bye week before the season, 3-game preseason, extended break. Now they were back in Berea today for some work. But during that extended break, I'm sure you guys saw the social media posts.
Oh, yeah.
Where were the Browns skill players? Baker, Jarvis, OBJ, Hooper. They were in Montana with their families, locking in, getting ready for the season, playing some football, playing some golf.
Oh,
when I talked to Bernie Kosar not too long ago, he said that was going to be the most important thing for this team. Was it not on the field? These guys are professional athletes. These guys are superstars in their own right, and they deserve every dollar that they make because they grinded to get to where they're at, and they're superhuman. But what matters most is what happens off the field. It's the Jarvis Landry softball games. It's the Rashard Higgins bowling events. It's the Montana throwing sessions during a bye week that no other team was doing, going out of town together to just lock in one last time before the season. I think this is a super focused group. We saw that on Instagram this morning. They're looking to go into Arrowhead and get the dub, and so am I.
I've already ran through about 5 brick walls this week, and Nick, you've got me ready to run through a 6. So I
appreciate that.
Yeah, let's go Browns, baby. Yeah.
Good thing I have no brick walls in my house.
Sheesh.
Big Mike will be happy to hear that you're not running through any of our walls tonight. And hey, let's not forget the linemen. I saw a post from was that Teller's wife? I saw the linemen got together outside of camp as well and had a nice little cookout with their wives.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, how much food do you guys think got thrown down?
Oh my gosh!
At least a $5,000 tab. Because you're getting the finest meats.
Well, they got it. I mean, it was at somebody's house. It was a backyard for sure. So they got it catered. So now you got to add the catering fee. What do you think they got though?
Meats.
Oh, they definitely probably ordered a whole cow and just cooked the whole thing. I would have got, if I was in that party, I would have just ordered the whole cow and then got like all the meat cut in different ways. You got your steaks, you got your burgers, you got your ground meat, and just go all in. We got a meatloaf, we got steaks, we got burgers. You could just do whatever the hell you want.
Nothing but meat and potatoes and milk at that kind of party.
Probably had some nice desserts too.
I
bet you the wives made some pretty mean desserts there too.
Man.
Some great pie or something. Oh man, now I'm really curious. Those are the questions we need answered here.
Be an NFL lineman.
Nick, we don't need to know any more about how we feel heading into the week. We need to know what they had at the cookout for the linemen.
Please write a column on that.
That is the information we need now. That's going to bring all the fans together, I think, and it also allow us to stop focusing on Baker and over analyzing which sock he puts on first and if it makes him a franchise quarterback or not, because those people are out of their mind. But listen, all right, you're saying they're going into winning in Kansas City. They're going to move to 1-0. Sam and I will cover that here later in the show. Let's switch gears. I said right when we introduced you, you and I were at ESPN Cleveland together. You were there part-time after the internship as a producer. You have since went elsewhere. Why don't you go ahead and elaborate on that? And I know Sam is excited and has some questions regarding about what you do now and potentially when it could all come to fruition.
Yeah, definitely. So right now I'm doing some work with Jack Entertainment, as you guys said, building out the BetJack platform as it sits right now. Sam, I know you're a big sports betting guy. I heard through the grapevine. So you can still check out betjack.com as it sits today. There's a ton of sports betting content. There's a ton of articles on there that you could find prop bets, picks, predictions, odds, all that good stuff, as well as we give away $50 Visa gift cards every single day to get people knowledgeable, get them ready for sports betting in Ohio. That, some people have no idea how to bet on sports. They're diehard sports fans. They watch go home, watch the Indians every night. They're going to be watching the game on Sunday. They don't know the first thing about a spread. They don't know what the over-under is. So we have the BetJack training camp on there to teach people how to bet on sports, to get everybody up to speed. So when that moment comes in the great state of Ohio and the lovely legislator down there in Columbus allows us, people are ready to go, and we're able to take some bets, win some bets, and people are able to do that confidently. And in the meantime, we have the, BetJack Pick'em sweepstakes where, like I said, $50 Visa cards every day. You literally just have to make your picks for free and lock them in on Indians games, Reds games, Ohio State games. There's a $100 gift card this week for the Browns games. You just lock those bad boys in, press submit, and if you get them right, you win a $100 Visa gift card.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking at the website right now, and it looks awesome. I'm glad you brought it up. The training camp is really, really nice to have, to get people knowledgeable, and you have to learn responsibility with sports gambling. If you're doing it on, like an offshore account, or, through something else, that's when it gets dangerous. You start, overspending. You start, becoming it becomes a real problem. And at least if you're doing it in a regulated state, you have to deposit your money before you bet it responsibly. You have to be ready to lose your bankroll if it all goes wrong. So I really love what you're doing. I think that's a really awesome thing to get into. And since you're doing the whole website, you're doing the whole betting training camp, it sounds like things are going well down in Columbus. Or do you not know too much about how things are going?
Yeah, so we don't know. We don't know too much. What happens behind closed doors is what happens behind closed doors. We got close a couple months ago before recess. It seemed like things were going to go through, and then it all kind of fell apart at the last minute. The one thing that I will say, and that I do know, because Mike DeWine, the governor of this state, went ahead and put it himself, on the record, saying once they have a bill that they're confident in and it comes across his desk, he'll sign it. So that's a good news, is that legalized sports betting in Ohio is inevitable. Whether it happens soon, whether it happens far away, it's going to happen. And when it does happen, there's going to be all sorts of options for people to bet on.
We all know that Mike DeWine loves his parlays. Now, is there anything we can do? Is there anything we can do as the fan? And by the way, I saw your Kent State Golden Flash Go Flashes. I thought we had them. But you know what? We'll still win the MAC. We're not ready to beat Texas A&M. Now, is there anything we can do as the average fan to maybe get Ohio moving a little bit more? Maybe just complain on Twitter. Maybe write a letter to Mike DeWine.
I'll tell you what not to do, and that's don't tweet at BetJack Ohio under every single post and ask where sports betting is coming, because we are solely a sports betting news and information site, so we don't have any type of inside information on that, despite what people might think. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure that you could look it up. It's all very public. The state representatives and the big wigs that actually represent the bill and that are writing the bill. So maybe write a letter to those people, give those people a phone call and be like, hey man, what the hell? Where is this? People are looking for it. We do have a guy on Twitter that's, become one of the good friends of the account, it seems. And he tweets at Governor Mike DeWine every single consecutive day until sports betting is legalized. Then he'll stop. He's at day number 216 right now. So I hope he keeps going. It's been a lot of fun following his journey, and once it does happen, it'll be really cool. It'll be something that we all could, kind of remember where we were as sports fans, and it'll be something to celebrate for sure.
Yeah, and how it goes is, I know that the Ohio Lottery, some of the taxes go to something like education, to our state systems that might need a little more help. So I really don't get the delay at all, considering we've had this big pandemic, everyone's hurting for money, our schools especially need that help. So we do need to get it going. It's only going to be for the better. So we'll hope for that. I'm going to hand the questions back over to Mitch. Nick, thank you so much for answering those.
Yeah, definitely. Keep your fingers crossed, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know they're crossed over here. I know for your sake, you have them crossed as well. Is there anything enticing that if we were betting this weekend that you would be placing money on? But as we know, if you listen to the Really Big Show on ESPN Cleveland, they did have somebody. Who was it? Was it Kasich from the House or whatever? And he said we have corrupt legislators. That's why this bill has not gotten passed yet for sports betting. So Nick, if it was legal, is there anything enticing you this weekend?
I mean, hell, if I could drive over that Pennsylvania border, which who knows, maybe I will. I would have my eyes on the over/under. We'll have a graphic coming out later this week on BetJack for this Browns game. 53 just seems tremendously low. I understand that it's the first game. To play devil's advocate, there could potentially be some jitters there for both teams and maybe some turnovers. But Pat Mahomes is 10-0 in September. He's thrown 32 touchdowns. No interceptions. He's PFF's highest graded quarterback. The Browns are going to come out throwing the ball, running the ball. We know what that offense is capable of. I think that over-under is just so low, and I would love to smash the over if I could.
Yeah, I also would, and I'm sure Sam's a big over guy. Sam doesn't play the under. Sam would love to smash the over right now.
I hate to do it, yeah.
But
can't stand it.
But I agree there. And listen, for your sake, I do hope this gets passed sooner than later. For all of our sports fans in Ohio, I hope it gets passed sooner than later. And just, in general, it's going to make it a lot more fun. It's going to keep people from doing it illegally and, having to drive to Pennsylvania, like you said, Nick, or drive to Indiana. I mean, I placed bets when I was in Indiana in March during March Madness. I mean, I was out there. It was a great time. Listen, you have to do it responsibly, like Sam said. It sounds like you guys at BetJack have a lot up there, a lot of informational pieces which people need. So everybody out there in the ball pit, head out there and head over to betjack.com, the sports tab, and look up what you're going to be needing to know when sports betting becomes legal in Ohio. Other than that, Nick, before I let you go, I want to let you plug yourself for everything you do. I know you're a man that's often busy and a man getting pulled in different directions. I know you have something going on later tonight, so go ahead and plug yourself.
Yeah, definitely. You guys can check me out on Twitter. That's the best place to keep in touch with everything at Nick Pedone 12. I'll be going live on my own show here. I'm in the studio right now, Pedone My Take, in the Big Play Lounge, currently waiting to go on. So that'll be a lot of fun. Pedone My Take tonight. We'll be talking more Browns, just like you guys, I'm sure, as well as just check out betjack.com. Like you said, BetJack training camp, trying to get things right, trying to make sure people know what they're doing before this gets legalized so people aren't blowing all their money and they never want to bet again. Figure out what you're going to do, play some good bets, win some good bets. I get paid by the casino, but you could win their money. That'd be a great time. But yeah, we're going to have a lot of just cool, really, really cool content coming down the pipeline as we hope to get closer and closer to this. So just keep it locked on, the BetJack website, the BetJack socials, because there's going to be some really cool ways to get involved with sports betting, perhaps even before it's even legal in the state.
Awesome. Nick, I thank you so much for hopping on. I know this will not be the only time we talk to you this football season. I know there is going to be either great things to celebrate in the middle of the football season, news to talk about as you cover the Browns all season long. And who knows, maybe next time we'll be talking about what we're looking at and what kind of money we're going to be placing on sports bets. So fingers crossed for that. But I want to thank you for hopping on here with Cover Your Balls, and best of luck the rest of the way. And hey, go Browns.
Hey, go Browns.
Go Browns.
Tremendous show, guys. Keep grinding. Sam, nice talking to you. We'll see you guys.
All right, Nick.
See you, Nick.
Thank you. I'll talk to you later, my dude.
See ya.
All right, that was Nick Pedone. Thank you.
All right.
Big thank you to him for coming on really quick. Even though we had the technical difficulties, shout out to the Rodecaster Pro just wanting to short on the Bluetooth button today.
Well, let's give it let's see if a soundbite works. Or whatever you call
we should.
that.
Oh, the sound bites are gonna work. Here. Yeah. Dog check. Well, with that being said, that went a little longer than usual. Gianni, hop back in the ball pit, switch wide angle. Let's go 2-minute drill, although more like 20-minute drill for us, because I know we wanted to end this thing quickly. Listen, we don't need to go in-depth breakdown about
Watch from Ted Lasso.
Exactly. We don't need to know who's throwing what, but
Sopranos.
oh, sorry,
Okay.
your mic was muted,
Yeah.
Gianni.
I watch Sopranos.
Yeah, but
HBO Max?
let's finish out this NFL preview show like we all intended for it to do. Let's go around, pick our division winners. Like I said, we don't need to go in depth with this. Let's start in the NFC. First, NFC East. Gianni, or Sam, I'll let you go first to Gianni. Who do you have winning the NFC East?
I absolutely love the football team. The defense is great. I like Ron Rivera. And I'm a believer in Fitzmagic and Terry Mack and Curtis Samuel. I think they've got something going on there. I don't know about the Cowboys. They scare me, but they could very well do it. Going with the football team.
Gianni.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Washington football team as well. I'm not a believer in the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, I think, is the most overrated quarterback in the league. The Giants are going to be dog meat as always, and the Eagles have been on a downstroke ever since they won the Super Bowl. So I'm saying Washington football team. They've looked strong. They looked really strong last year. Their defense is really, really good. So
make it all three. It's going to be a clean sweep. Listen,
to the north.
Fitzmagic, baby. That's all you need to know. Fitzmagic. NFC North now. Sammy.
Well, I think that we might as well just say we all have the Packers, Aaron Rodgers last season, Bears, Vikings, and Lions. No way they're going to do it. Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers. They're going to scare me. They're going to be my pick to win the NFC as well. So I think we could just move on from the NFC North.
I don't know, Gianni. Are you going with the Packers?
I think the Packers are going to win, but I honestly think it'll be a tighter race than you think between the Bears and the Packers. I think the Bears are going to show out this year. I don't think they're going to win. I'm not promising anything.
Andy Dalton.
Listen, I'm not promising anything. I think Fields is going to come in and tear it up. Anyways, I think the Bears are going to come in a close second. I think closer than you think. That's my prediction.
All right, as long as you didn't say the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going Packers too, but I wanted to make this point earlier. I heard when I was listening to a podcast. The Vikings have all the weapons, right? Don't have the right quarterback, though. You agree with that? Kirk Cousins is a below-average quarterback.
Kirk Cousins he's not going to get it done.
I don't think he's awful. I think that
he's not awful.
But he's not going to take them over the top, right?
Take it to the next level.
No.
Not going to take them over the top.
They need to figure out that quarterback position. Especially they have Justin Jefferson. You don't want to. I mean, that's Randy Moss right there. So you don't want to waste Randy Moss.
But you look at Green Bay. Yeah, you have Devontae Adams. After that, you have Alan Lazard, Valdez Scantling.
I'm a believer.
I'm saying compared to Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook, it's much more lower. And so by me just pointing that out, I just wanted to show you that great quarterbacks make other players around them better, where great weapons can make an average quarterback decent, which is still why Deshaun Watson doesn't get the respect he deserves because he didn't make anybody better last year in Houston at Brandon Ranke, who still thinks Deshaun Watson's like the greatest quarterback ever. But back to the NFC South now. Guys, I'm sure this is a clean sweep for all three of us.
NFC South, yeah. No doubt. Except, you know what? Now I'm picking the Buccaneers. I think that the Panthers are going to be. I think the Panthers and Matt Rule are going to shock the world. I think they're going to win more than 9 games. And I think that the Buccaneers might have a hiccup along the way. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think the Bucks. While I don't know how they will do, I'm really curious to see how the Saints do with their quarterback situation over there. Really interested to see what goes on. I don't know if they're going to do anything spectacular this year, but I'm just kind of interested to see what they do over there this year.
I agree. Listen, the Buccaneers are going to win that division. I'm very intrigued by the Saints. I'm intrigued by the Panthers a little bit. Like you said, Sam, Matt Rule in his second season.
Matt Rule, baby.
Healthy Christian McCaffrey is definitely going to help.
Love that safety of theirs.
Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba. Yeah,
Chuba. We're going Chuba. It sounds better.
Well, his name is Chuba.
I know it is.
I think he would appreciate that, bitch.
Well,
maybe he can come on the show.
I was going to say, if he wants to defend himself, he can come on the show.
All right, Chuba.
But we're going to go with the Buccaneers. So we're all three in agreement so far, and I know this is exactly where we're going to start to differ. Gianni's pride and joy, his favorite team resides in the NFC West. Sammy, this is perhaps... it's debatable between two divisions, but in the NFC, there's no debate. The hardest division in the NFC. Who do you have coming out winning the NFC West this season?
I do have the 49ers. I'm a big believer in their defense. And I don't know. I don't buy all the hype with the Rams. I think that they're going to make the playoffs, don't get me wrong, but I think the 49ers are going to be the better team. I think that they are better coached. I think it's going to be really, really close. especially with the Jimmy G, Trey Lance situation. But they're going to be my surprise pick for the West. But don't get me wrong, I don't think the Rams are going to be bad at all. They're going to be right back where they usually are.
Gianni?
Well, it's pretty obvious. I think the Rams will win the division. I definitely think the 49ers are going to put up a fight. I mean, hey, they beat us twice last year. But, this year, new quarterback coming in, we haven't really seen him play, but I'm excited to see how he does. I think he's going to be great. Matthew Stafford's no slouch by any means. I think he's extremely underrated, and I think we're really going to see what kind of quarterback Matthew Stafford is, being of winning games. Obviously, him being in Detroit his whole career, he hasn't had the best luck there.
Whole new environment for him.
We're going to really see under a great coach, under all these things that are just really going for him, what he's going to do. And I think the Rams win the division. I mean, you talk about defenses. The Rams have probably, if not one of the best defenses in the league. And then their offense is obviously no slouch by any means. So I think it's going to be a close race, but I think the Rams are going to take it. But I think the 49ers are going to definitely put up a fight.
Sam saw me what I typed out. I'm actually going to change it. I was thinking about it while you were talking, Gianni. I'm not going to lie.
It's already down. It's down.
It is down, but I'm still going to go with I think all three of these teams make the playoffs. I really do. I think that we'll talk about it when we do playoffs.
Change it.
I think three teams from the NFC West are making the playoffs. I originally had Seahawks down, and here's why. I think the continuity factor is a huge factor. I'll keep it down. We'll differ here. I'll say the Seahawks win the division. They've won it 4 out of the past 6 years. The exception, the Niners either went to the Super Bowl. The year you guys went to the Super Bowl. Russell Wilson to me is still criminally underrated in the NFL. He made it known he made it known this offseason he's not happy there, which I fully expect and anticipate the Seahawks to come out firing this year to do whatever they have to. Chris Carson, I think, will have a breakout year. You have Lockett, you have DK Metcalf on the outside. I love it. I'm going to stick with the Seahawks, man. But listen, you can't go wrong with any of the 3 teams we picked. Yeah. If there's anything, if you're picking the 4th team that we haven't mentioned, you're high. Because that team isn't going to make the playoffs this year. I'm not going to be shocked if they finish above 500. It's only by 1 game.
Too.
I think Kyler Murray's a phenomenal fantasy quarterback. He's not a good NFL quarterback.
Thank you.
Yes, you have D-Hop, but guess what? People keep saying Larry Fitzgerald. He's retired. Literally, he's not playing. A.J. Green, cool. Maybe if it was 2012. James Conner, Chase Edmonds. J.J. Watt will be hurt by week.
A great team in 2016.
2016 is a great team.
They would have won the Super Bowl. Yeah, I'll give it to them.
They'll be out of J.J. Watt will be out by week 8.
Arizona Cardinals 2016 Super Bowl champs in 2021. Mark it down.
Get all this love for the Arizona Cardinals off the show. You're obviously, I had no idea Sam felt this way about Kyler either. So obviously you're not going to get it from us. I'm sure Gianni's not going to, knowing his favorite teams in the division. Just if you're a Cardinals lover, just stop and get the help you need, because it also probably means you like Kirk Cousins. Also probably means you like the damn Las Vegas Raiders, and I'll have my rant there with them too when we get to the AFC West. But
right. Listen, leave the past behind, people.
We agree in the NFC East, North, South. In the West, we're all picking 3 different teams. But
that's just great because in no other division of football, besides for the AFC North last year, because you have said 3 teams could win the division.
And I told you, there's 2 divisions in all football that are considered the toughest, and it's debatable. And ultimately, I think the nod goes to the West because the Cardinals are obviously better than the Bengals.
Shout out to new listener Larry. He's a big Cliff Kingsbury hater too. He said he's taking Cliff Kingsbury for first coach to be fired. So that's great value, Larry. On to the AFC East?
Let's go to the AFC East now. Also, shout out to Johnny Coolidge, new subscriber of the show. Thank you to anybody who's subscribing. If you're watching right now and you haven't hit the subscribe button, what are you waiting for? If you do, Sam will dump an entire bottle of mayonnaise on himself in the ball pit.
I will not. But what I will do is place an imaginary bet in your honor until Nick Pedone gets down to Congress in Columbus or whatever you'd call it, and he gets that bill passed.
All right, let's go to AFC now, boys. Let's start with the East. Sammy, I already know who you're taking here, but go ahead and say it for the listeners.
Oh, man. Well, first and foremost, let's go Buffalo Bills. I have quite a few friends from the Buffalo area, and I love them dearly. I've grown to absolutely fall in love with the Buffalo Bills. They've been with the Browns. We've been friends from the start, basically my whole life. I cannot wait to see the Buffalo Bills one day in the AFC Championship game. And you know what? Whoever wins, I don't really care. I'll be a little upset if it's not the Browns, but I'll still root for you guys in the Super Bowl. Let's go Bills, Josh Allen, Sean McDermott, Stephon Diggs. You can't get it wrong here. I know Bill Belichick and the Patriots are going to be on your heels, but you've got it. Don't worry. Tom Brady's gone. It's a new era. Big money Allen, wing nuts. Wings are a little expensive right now, but that's okay. Buffalo is back and better than ever. And maybe one day I'll jump through a table in Buffalo and I'll peak. So let's go Bills.
I like the Bills, man. But ever since Mac Jones was made the starter, I just had this feeling in my gut that I just can't get away.
Jones.
Every time someone brings up the Patriots,
You know his name is McCorkle?
every time someone says the Patriots aren't good anymore, Bill Belichick's washed. I just have this feeling that the Patriots are really going to show us something this year. I think Mac Jones is going to be a stud.
Oh.
I think that's the quarterback Bill Belichick has been looking for ever since Tom left.
It's been 1 year. People act like he's been out here in the desert searching for a quarterback for years.
right.
Tom Brady left 1 year ago.
That meme where Bill Belichick's hit his cutoff, there's like holes and he looks like shit. Like that's how people are acting. Like he's like, yeah.
All I'm saying, it's hard for me to, because I really think the Patriots are going to be really good.
Then say it with your chest.
I think the Patriots are going to win the division.
Say it with your chest.
You heard it here first.
All right, well, we heard it here first. And the East is only getting one team in the playoffs.
You're going with the Dolphins.
You wish. That's probably the quarterback I trust least in that division. Tua Tagovailoa. Tagovailoa, violin player. I don't give a damn. He's trash. Tua is trash.
Yep. He won't be in the league next year.
He might be getting traded by week 6 to the Texans for that pedophile if he's not in jail.
Agree.
So
They just might do it for the heck of it.
honestly, it might create more excitement than what Tua does on the field anyway.
Brissett.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Nobody.
The Bills are winning the division again. I'm with Sam here. And with that, we were just talking about the Dolphins, who are down south in Florida, but are somehow in the AFC East. But let's head down and talk about the AFC South now. Sam, who is coming out of the South as the division winner?
Yeah, gonna be the Titans. I'm not a Colts. I mean, they've got Carson Wentz. I have a good friend named Steve, and I got to saw him last Friday and his new girlfriend Jess. Wish them well. Steve'sArtShack.com. Go support Steve. Go buy some art of his. They've moved on from Carson Wentz. They've got Jalen Hurts, who I'm very excited for. They've got Nick something as their head coach. I don't know how the Eagles are going to be, but this is the AFC South. Carson Wentz and the Colts, they're not going to do it. It's going to be Derrick Henry and the Titans. Ryan Tannehill, Julio Jones, A.J. Brown. That's all you need to know. And Mike Vrabel.
So you're taking the Colts?
You're taking the Colts?
Titans.
You said Colts at first. That's why I had to clarify.
Yeah, I was just saying why the Colts wouldn't win it.
Oh, okay. All right. Gianni, who are you taking?
Man,
If you say the Jaguars or the Texans, you were fired.
no, I'm just trying to find. I mean, this is just the dog shitter of the dog shitters in this division.
No.
Man, I think just for the sake.
I mean, it's hard because you basically have 4 guaranteed wins if you're the Titans and the Colts. Lock it in the bag.
And also, not so fast. Didn't the Jaguars beat the Titans week 1 last year?
I'm gonna go out and say the Colts are winning the division, and that's all I'll say on that. But I
Carson
think
Wentz
this
is your
division's
QB.
dog meat.
That's the hill you're gonna die on this year is Carson Wentz.
Shite ass division. I don't really care about it anyways.
I'm with Sam. Going with the Titans. You got Derrick
Respect
Henry.
it.
The Titans add Julio Jones for Ryan Tannehill. I like the Titans to finish this out and win the division again. Guys, let's head out west now. The AFC West. Not nearly as packed as the NFC West. I'll be shocked here if we're not all in agreement. But Sam,
Yes, Chiefs.
Sam, who are you taking?
Vic Fangio and the Denver Broncos. Nah, going with the Chiefs.
Better question: who do you think's going to come in a close second in this division?
It would be the Chargers. I don't even know. Can't even think. who the fourth team is right now.
I can tell you who the fourth team is. You want to know who the
Broncos,
fourth team
Raiders?
is? Yeah, the Raiders, the most overrated football team there is in the NFL, the most pathetic football team there is in the NFL, with the most pathetic quarterback in Derek Carr, a horrendous offensive guru in John Gruden who can't manage a team. It's ridiculous. Brandon Ranke,
Just sitting in the chat.
huge fan of the Raiders, by the way. I'd like to point that out. Brandon
luck to
Ranke
him.
in the ball pit, huge fan of the Raiders. Absolute travesty that he likes such bad football. He likes a lot of bad baseball players too. That's for a different show, different day. Raiders guys, we'll touch on them again here when we do our awards, by the way. So we're all in agreement here with the Chiefs winning the AFC
Yes.
West. Now let's go to the best division in all the AFC.
Johnny who he has.
Gianni, who's one of the AFC North?
And I'm going with the home team.
All right.
I'm going
All
with the
right.
Browns.
Let's
I
go.
really think they're going to win the division. I think the Ravens, while the Ravens are good every year, I don't know. Something about the Ravens this year just don't. I'm a big gut guy. I like to go off my gut. I like to go off my feeling, and I think the Browns are going to win it. I don't know how the Steelers are going to do this year. I feel like you can just never count out the Steelers, but who knows what they're going to do this year. But I think ultimately the Browns are going to take the division.
If I'm going with my gut, it's telling me that I think the Browns are right there. Now, if the Browns split with the Ravens, it's there. But the Browns have not defeated the Ravens in 3 seasons since they won that game at First Energy Stadium. Or I'm sorry, since they won the game in Baltimore under Freddie Kitchens, and after that it all went crashing downhill. We're trusting in a rookie to stop Lamar Jackson. I'm going to have to see it to believe it first. I think the Steelers are going to finish third in this division. It's between the Browns and the Ravens, but until I see it with my own eyes, as I sit here today, my gut tells me I have to go with the team that's been there, done that already, and it's the Ravens. I do on paper the Browns are the better team, more talented. Something tells me right now that it never goes how you think. Everybody thinks the Ravens are done because their running backs are hurt. Well, guess what? Their best running back isn't hurt. He's just playing quarterback. I got to see it to believe it with a rookie in JOK that we're trusting to stop Lamar. So unfortunately, I'm going to say Ravens. Doesn't mean I still don't have the Browns going past them in the playoffs, but until I see it, I'm going to have to go with the Ravens winning the AFC North. But
Interesting pick there.
Browns split. They get the division. I just don't know if they will yet. That's all.
right.
That is all. So with that being said, now
They'll sweep them.
we need the playoff picture. We need your teams in the NFC and the AFC. I don't care if you guys want to give me who the 1 through 7 is. That's fine. But by looking here, we already have 3 in the NFC given. Heck, we probably already have 6 in the NFC given based off our winners. And we already have 4 or 5 in the AFC given. So, Sam, give me your 7 in the NFC.
Yeah.
And then who wins the NFC?
I'll tell you what. I'll just give you my or. Because I don't even know if I could do 7 teams from the NFC off the top of my head. I'll tell you what I had prepared. From the AFC, I've got the Browns or Bills coming out. I don't think that the Chiefs are going to win the AFC this year. I really think it's going to be the Browns or the Bills. I do think that they'll be in the championship game, the Chiefs will, but I think the Browns or the Bills will beat them. Unless it works out to a way where the Browns win the division. And therefore we could have, that would be one hell of a game. I would be concerned for every citizen in both cities. Not that we would fight, but it's just, that's just nothing but rust and beer from those 2 teams. And that would be great. So Browns and Bills or 49ers or Packers, I really think those are going to be the 4 possibilities. Mix them, match them, do whatever you want with them. But Browns, Bills, 49ers, Packers, we'll see. That's your final 4.
Johnny.
In the NFC, I either got the Rams or the Bucks. So those are my 2. And then the AFC, I either think the Chiefs or the Browns.
So you said Chiefs or the Browns.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat a
pick.
team 3 times. I told you the Ravens win the division. The Browns are going to beat them in the playoffs. The Browns are going to go back to Arrowhead then because they don't win the division, so they don't have home field. And they're going to beat the Chiefs there, and the Browns are going to win the AFC.
So you're saying Chiefs win this week then?
No, not necessarily, because it doesn't matter. If we have the tiebreaker, if we're the wild card team, we don't get home field.
Well, you
at all.
said it's hard to beat a team 3 times.
we're going to beat the Chiefs twice. I'm saying the Ravens. I told you if the Browns split with the Ravens, then we win the division. But I'm saying I have to see it to believe it. But the Ravens can't beat us 3 times. I'm a little skeptical they're even going to beat us twice. But I am going to get off the fanning scared wagon. I am going to put my feelings out there. I have the Browns winning the AFC. This is the first time I can ever say that with complete confidence in my lifetime.
So why not have them win the AFC North then? Like that's why I don't.
It's just because Lamar's a wild card.
Like the Ravens don't even matter. In that
Lamar's a
situation,
wild
basically.
card. We're going with our predictions. Lamar's a wild card to me. I don't trust a rookie linebacker to have to stop a former MVP right now. Not off the rip. So in the NFC then, it's going to be a Browns versus the last dance from the NFC, the Green Bay Packers. Listen, there's no shot in hell. What happened last year is going to happen again in the NFC Championship between the Bucs and the Packers. It was all a fluke. Matt LaFleur.
And I hate to interrupt you, but let me tell you, Mike Patton, like what are you thinking?
Dude, that was Tom Brady. That was all Tom Brady.
Mike Patton, what are you
No,
thinking?
because if you're Tom Brady fans, it's all Tom Brady.
You could have anybody just like running at the goal line, like
Morons.
That's what's. I don't understand how you let that happen, but that's why I'm not Tom Brady. That's why I don't have a Super Bowl. That's why I'm not in the NFL or coaching the NFL, because I don't understand that. Thanks a lot, Mike Patton. Thanks a lot, dude.
Thanks a lot, Matt LaFleur, kicking a field goal when you're down 5.
Yeah.
Like morons.
Could have won $200.
But hey, that was all Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the reason they did that, though. Tom Brady's the reason Matt LaFleur, because those moron, idiot Tom Brady fans out there just think he does everything like that. But no, the Packers are going to end the last dance. Aaron Rodgers will go somewhere next year. Who knows where he'll go? Probably Houston or Miami if they don't trade for Watson because Tua's a bust. But so I have the Browns Packers winning that. Listen, I know we wanted to do picks, but I also know we want to end this. So let's go ahead with our award predictions. The picks, we're going to do weekly picks that will be available on Twitter. We will post them on Twitter.
We'll just do it. We'll send them in the chat or whatever.
We're going to send them, and I will post them on Twitter.
That would be better.
Yeah. So we'll have our picks, and at the end on every Monday episode, we'll go over what we had right and wrong, who's in the lead week 1, all the way through week 18, 17-week season. There's a bye week for everybody. There's 18 weeks. Quick maths, people. All right,
and then
Sam.
and then starting next week, we'll actually have the prediction show.
Correct. Exactly. Correct.
Just to let everyone know.
So with that being said, NFL award predictions, folks. We have MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie, Defensive Rookie, Coach of the Year. I didn't tell you this yet, but it hit me. Comeback Player of the Year. A lot of candidates, and Coach on the hot seat. Gianni, I'll start with you. Who is your? Do we want to go one by one, or we want to get rid of everything?
I can rattle them off.
You get set up on your draft. Gianni, rattle them off. MVP.
MVP of the league for the 2022 season. Man, there's a couple people that come to mind. I'm not going to say a specific player, but I will say this. I think for the first time in a while, I think it's going to be a wide receiver. I think it's going to be a wide receiver this year.
And
For MVP?
Yeah. Which is kind of a hot take on his own. Wide receivers don't win
Devontae
MVP.
Adams.
I was going to say he's probably the only logical answer. After that, if you were going wide receiver, I'd feel like it'd have to be
D-Hop.
or Kelsey, even though he's a tight end. He's just, receiving tight end. I don't know.
But I think it's going to be a wide receiver.
Okay.
So then what is it?
Wow,
Offensive player next?
Offensive Player of the Year.
Offensive player of the year. Offensive player of the year, I'm going with let's go with Baker Mayfield. Why not?
Ooh.
Let's go with Baker.
4,500 yards.
Don't quite he's going to be
50
MVP,
touchdowns.
but offensive player of the year, maybe.
All right. Defensive Player of the Year.
Defensive player of the year, got to go with my boy, Aaron Donald. He just wins it every year.
He does win it every year.
It's just stupid the things he does on the football field. So
I
Aaron
agree.
Donald.
I feel like there's only like 2 or 3 possible answers you can give for that, but the King has one like 4. So, all right, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Oof. Mac Jones.
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Who are defensive rookies that are going to be starting this year?
You could just say somebody on the Browns if you want.
Someone on the Browns, I guess.
Do you want to go with Greg Newsome the third?
Yeah, let's go
All
with
right,
him.
Greg Newsome. Coach of the Year.
Coach of the year. It's either going to be if the Chargers do good, it's going to be the Chargers coach.
Staley, Brandon Staley.
If the Chargers are good, but if the Chargers aren't good, then it's going to be Sean McVay.
All right. Well, shout out to Brandon Staley out there in LA for the Chargers. JCU graduate, has Cleveland ties. So, coach on the hot seat.
Coach on the hot seat. I think I actually have two people for this. I think obviously Urban Meyer, if he shits the bed this year,
No, but we did say off there Urban Meyer doesn't count because everybody knows Urban Meyer's in the hot seat.
But I'm thinking we're gonna go to the Raiders actually.
Oh, you bitch! That was my take.
Is that who you had?
John Gruden? Yeah,
John Gruden.
I agree.
I mean, what more can I say about it? Some like legendary coach coming in, and what have they done? Like, what has the team done? Like, he's supposed to be this like great offensive mind. The offensive sucked. Like, you can say players, but at a certain point, you got to get the job done, right?
Right. All right. Do you have a comeback player of the year?
Comeback player of the year. I think if I were to pick anybody, I think it could be Odell if he performs.
All right.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. All right, Sam, you quickly.
MVP Josh Allen, Depoy Myles Garrett, Coach of the Year. I wrote Matt Rule as a little bit satirically, and I crossed it out. But Matt Rule, I'm cheering for you. Bill Belichick is my Coach of the Year. I do think the Patriots are going to be good. I don't think they're going to the division. Roy, Kyle Pitts, D. Roy, homer move. But I like Joe Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I think for his value and what he can do at the position, like he's set up almost in the perfect spot to win that award if he gets like a pick six or two. Hopefully both next week. That would be great. Or on Sunday. That would be awesome. Boy, Devontae Adams. I'm with you. I do feel like in the vibe, but MVP is like more of a quarterback award at this point. Same with the Heisman. It's kind of lame, but whatever. But Devontae Adams, last dance. I believe Aaron Rodgers' golden arm. He could really do it. Sorry, I got invited to a soup party. I can't wait for the soup party. Got like a random text there. Let's see. My hot seat. The Vic Fangio and the Denver Broncos. I think their expectations are high for some reason. I don't really understand it. But I think he's pretty bland, and who knows? Maybe he'll stay there. But usually, when you get a new quarterback, you're going to get a new coach too. Or something like that. And so I think that's what the Broncos have in their future. Pete Carroll is my hot seat that no one's talking about. If the Seahawks don't do well, right, who do you pick between? Do you pick Pete Carroll, the older gentleman, or you take Russell Wilson?
I didn't really think about that.
Right, for someone who, if you want to take the value, all the pressures on their shoulders, maybe he's not the first fired, but if the Seahawks don't have a great season, Pete Carroll could very well be on his way out.
That's a good take. Mitch?
Comeback player of the year.
Comeback player of the year. I'll go with OBJ too. I can't have anybody. I didn't do that one, so I don't have one off the top of my head.
I threw it at you guys late. I completely forgot. All right, MVP for me, Russell Wilson. I think if the Seahawks do have a good season, he has to be the front runner just because I feel like they are extremely overlooked. I love Russ out there. Mr. Unlimited, as we call him. Offensive player of the year, I'm with Sam. It's Devontae Adams. I think he's going to have a breakout year, which is crazy because he's been having breakout years. But he's going to get over the hump. Last year, I believe, finished third behind Derrick Henry and Travis Kelce. Devontae Adams, my pick. Defensive player of the year, it's finally going to get done. No putting helmets back on people's heads. Should not be missing because of COVID. Hopefully no injury. I'm going with Myles Garrett finally getting over the hump and getting defensive player of the year. Offensive rookie of the year, give me Kyle Pitts from the Falcons. I like him a lot. With Julio gone, I think he's going to get a lot of targets being the number 2, even though he's at the tight end position because Calvin Ridley will get all the attention. Defensive rookie of the year, give me Jamin Davis of the Washington football team. I think that defense is so loaded that they're going to key in on the veterans, and Jamin Davis is going to have a phenomenal rookie year. Coach of the year, Sean Payton of the Saints. I think the Saints are going to have a very successful season. I do have them making the playoffs as a wild card team, and I do think Sean Payton will get some nods for Coach of the Year. Hot seat, like I said, Gianni, it's John Gruden. Man's making $100 million over the course of 10 years. It comes out to $10 million a year. Quick maths. Listen, he's he's way past his prime. Way past his prime. He was an idiot forever getting out of the booth on Monday Night Football. And I believe he'll find himself there or in another booth within the next couple of years. And
But kudos to him. He's making the bag.
He is. I mean, listen, don't mess with another man's finances. But when it comes to coaching, games passed him by. Although I heard Bishop Sycamore's looking for a coach. So maybe there. And comeback player of the year, guys, I'm going with Nick Bosa from the 49ers.
Okay.
OHIO, baby. I think Nick Bosa, I'm rooting that it's Odell, 100%. Don't forget, Saquon's up for that honor. Nick Bosa is another candidate. I have the list here. Joe Burrow, Christian McCaffrey, Carson Wentz,
Burrow could be one.
Derwin James, Jimmy G, Sam Darnold. Did he get hurt last year? I just didn't pay attention enough. Jameis Winston. Listen, there's a lot of great
Sam
candidates.
Darnold? He's just awful.
Dak Prescott is another one, who's also the favorite to win comeback player of the year right now, may I add, according to Vegas Insider. He is the favorite. Joe Burrow is second. I think Joe Burrow is going to have a rough year this year. I think he's going to be hindered by that
Yeah, I'll go Saquon Barkley for that pick.
trash offensive line. But yeah, we'll have to see how these play out. I just wanted to get our
Yeah, for sure.
our blind takes out there, put them out there. And we're going to have to keep, I took notes about who we have winning divisions and conferences and whatnot. But we will have our picks tweeted out tomorrow at some time.
Yep.
Monday, episode 63, we will be live for overreactions of the NFL season. We will take you up till about 8:15 of the Monday Night Football game between the Ravens and the Raiders. And we're going to get that bigger ball candidate back in there, Sam. I know you've been missing it. I know these shows have been running a little hectic, but now
I
that we're
have
back.
Baker Mayfield for this week for my bigger balls candidate. He's got a big pair of balls on him. So Emily Mayfield told me. So let's go Browns.
Sources can confirm.
Yep.
Gianni, anything before we go?
No. Thanks for everybody tuning in today. I'm excited for this weekend, man. Not only am I going to the Ohio State game, as we said earlier in the show, so I will be there. Once again, I'll probably record some stuff on my phone to put on the show, whatever. And then obviously week 1 of NFL. I mean, can we just think for a second that from now on, until the end of the season, there will be no
5
more.
months.
For 5 months, there will be no more non-NFL Sundays, which is a great feeling. This past Sunday,
Finally.
it was honestly, I was sitting there and I was just like, man, the weather was nice. Typical cooler fall weather has been showing recently, and I've just been like, man, it's football weather, man. I wish there was a game on today.
I agree.
So I'm just really excited to watch some football. It's going to be an
Summer's
awesome
over.
weekend.
Summer is over. Sam, anything?
Yeah.
No, nothing at all. Go Browns. I'm just very excited for life. I'm excited for the Monday shows. I was glad Nick Pedone could join us.
Yeah, shout out to Nick Pedone.
Yeah.
Thank you to Nick. We'll have him back on, man. He's great.
And you'll have to Pedone his take.
Yes. But no, seriously, for everybody out there, thank you for sticking with us through those difficulties on the phone. And listen, if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we are now back on podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can find episode 62 that you're watching right now there tomorrow on all podcast platforms. For Gianni Capuano and Sam Summers, I am Mitch Balla. This has been episode 62 of Cover Your Balls. We will see you Monday for episode 63. And as always, go Browns.
Man, we got dogs.
We got dogs.
Sir.
Go Brownies, baby. Beat the Chiefs. We will see you guys Monday for episode